Bethany Limley here. I am going to talk about my story, my CPS story. Just start, I'm not going to say too much about everything because a lot of it's in my book, so if it gets released, I want people to be able to find out and not me telling them. So, when I was a little girl, I was born 1990. My mother was not the best mother, I've been told, but I don't know if that's true. So I kind of grew up in the foster care system myself. And when I was in the foster care system, I was abused, neglected, sexually assaulted. I was trafficked out as a child. I was also trafficked out in casinos as a child. And then I was adopted. I got adopted through Athens County Children's Services, which is the same people who abused me, raped me, used me as a experimental guinea pig. They pay the doctors to give me diagnosis that I didn't even have to use me as a guinea pig. They are also the ones who trafficked me out and everything, and it was the workers and the foster parents who raped me, abused me, and neglected me. So I never had a chance to get a job as a teenager. I never had a chance to get my license as a teenager. They screwed me out of my future before I even had a chance to live my fullest. So, I grew up in the foster care system, and I got adopted out, put back in the foster care system, put back in the home, put back in foster care system, and everywhere they placed me, my adopted home, all the foster homes were abusive, neglectful, were rapists, were human traffickers, were gamblers, drug addicts who drugged me. They also kept moving me around constantly, so I never could keep my friends because literally every time I got close to somebody, they moved me again. They kept moving me and moving me and moving me, so I never had a social life. I wasn't allowed to date, wasn't allowed to get my license, was not allowed to have a job, wasn't allowed to do jack shit. So this went on constantly till I was about 18, well not 18, but like 16, 17 years old. And this was still, the abuse was still happening to me in Athens County Children's Services care and everything else. Then I was raising my own foster siblings. I was taking care of them. I was doing everything I was supposed to do and take care of myself. And then they placed me when I was about 17 in an adult therapeutic foster home or something, so I could finish high school. I graduated and I was tossed around. Then I moved back to Ironton, Ohio, in Lawrence County. I moved in with a group home cook. She took me under her wing. Then I got in contact with my ex-husband. So I was right back and forth. Her daughter and stuff did not like me. There was a lot of issues there. So she put me in an adult group home when I was 18. And then I left the adult group home, moved in with my boyfriend at the time. And plus he was someone I liked in high school. And we dated for about a year or two. Then we got married. I paid for the marriage license. I paid for the rings. I paid for everything. After marriage, he got really abusive towards me. There was never kids involved. Then I kept going in and out of respite, in and out of the psychiatric hospital because I was being abused. Not because of mental illness, but because I was being abused and not able to have my nutrition I need. I had malnutrition. And then I got into several apartments when I was between the ages 18 to 19. Well, between ages 18 and 20, I should say. Then I'm not going into too much detail about my ex-husband, but he wasn't a very good person. He was a lunatic, a psychopath, a narcissist, a manipulator. So after a while, I went out of state to live. I did really well, never had really any problems till I had a ex that had psychosis. He was going around and telling people stuff that I was saying about them that was not true. Then I left the state, came back to Ohio, filed for my divorce, filed for the protection order, and I got stuck here in Hopewell's Care, which is formerly Tri-County Mental Health and Counseling Services, and they forced me to be used as experimental guinea pig lab rat again for them. No choice. They used me as a guinea pig. They gave me false diagnosis. I never had anything to make money. So I got stuck here, got set up in a new place, and I was there for about a year and a half. I moved out of Athens to Nelsonville, and I moved on 245 Jefferson Street area, and I was there for like 2 years, 3 years. I think it was more closer to 3 years, if I remember correctly. Then I was still single, and everything. Met a guy, and we headed off shortly after we got together. There was no kids involved, must remind you, that he started to turn very controlling, very abusive. He sexually abused me. At the time I got pregnant, I didn't know I was pregnant. I didn't have no symptoms of pregnancy. I was still having my periods. Only thing I had was severe vomiting. Then I took a test because he told me he thought I was pregnant. And I was pregnant by rape. I was with him for about 12 months. The first 3 months was fine. The rest of it was abusive, controlling, rape, you name it. Anyway, so I took, in a period of 4 to 5 months, this was short, like, after the fact, like, I don't even know, I think it was like, I don't remember how far I was into the relationship, but I was towards the end of the relationship. I took over 150 pregnancy urine tests from the store, different brands, different types. Same with, that's mixed with hospitals, the doctor's offices, pregnancy urine tests. I also took several, like literally over 30 blood HCG blood tests, all red negative as well. The abuse got worse. The abuse got a lot worse. I got rid of him. I kicked him out of my life. I have him arrested. There was no more of that after I got him arrested. There was a CPO on him. Still currently a civil protection order on him. And then he was arrested on November the 7th, 2015. So yeah, I was basically with him for 12 months. Then I went to the OB on November the 13th, which was a Friday in 2015, because I was really, really sick with severe abdominal pain. They did a blood test, blood pregnancy test, and a urine pregnancy test. They did two of those. It red negative. So the OB ordered me emergency ultrasound, and I found out I was 4 months pregnant. Had no idea I was pregnant. No idea. Shocked me. I wasn't even supposed to have kids. About 3 to 4 years prior, I was taking fertility treatments. And I quit them by a year before I moved to Nelsonville. So I had no idea. I did not believe I was pregnant. I was calling the doctors, the nurses. I was calling everybody psychotic. I was like, there's no effing way I'm pregnant. There's no effing way I'm pregnant. And I kept repeating it, and I'll argue with the doctors and the nurses for about 15 minutes. They show me the ultrasound, and they point out the fetus. And I cried my eyes out. I collapsed to the ground, and I cried out of fear. The fact that it was like a central, that I finally got pregnant, although it was by rape. It was all just like, it all hit me at once. And then after that, I had weekly checkups. I kept all my appointments. I was on WIC. By the time I was 4.5 months pregnant, or 5 months pregnant, I had everything Josiah needed for his first 2 years of life with a bed and everything. And I was a failure to thrive baby as well. And a jaundice baby. So I brought him home. I had emergency C-section. It was not planned. I was so happy he was born. I was doing so well, feeding him and everything, that he was not gaining weight. I was like, why isn't he not gaining weight? I'm feeding him breast milk and formula. Most of the time it was breast milk, but sometimes I used formula when I was out in public. And he was a failure to thrive, so he went to Children's Hospital in Columbus, Ohio. Then CPS kept being called on me during my whole pregnancy. After the delivery, there was a case open. They lost the case. There was a case open for over a year. I worked with the parent mentor for over a year. Then I moved to a 2-bedroom apartment. I'm still at this 2-bedroom apartment. And they closed me out because they said there's no need for us to have a case open. You're stable. You're not neglecting. You're meeting the needs of your son. You're an excellent fit parent. That's what my parent mentor said. And most of the CPS workers, and they tried to take me to court in 2016 to gain custody of my 1-year-old. They lost that case. It was tossed out of court. They had a conniption fit. They threw the briefcase down. Tons of fraudulent, false documentation on me that was false. Went all over the freaking floor. They got so mad they lost the case. They went off. It was really bad. And then I still had custody, and because they got mad, they lost the case on me, and they couldn't get custody. They kept opening cases after cases after cases after cases after cases after cases on me. Parent mentor after the parent mentor after parent mentor after parent mentor will close because there was no abuse, no dependency, no neglect. My son's needs was met. Although I lived in poverty, I had everything figured out. I was a great fit mother. My kid never went without, but because they kept getting pissed off, they kept losing the cases against me because they tried to get me for abuse, neglect, dependency, all that stuff, and all of it was denied. There was no proof of abuse, neglect, or dependency. And everything was addressed. I did everything I was supposed to, and everything. And they kept opening cases to just harass my family. Every time I was starting to be successful and it got back to them, oh, let's open another case up on her. Yeah. And it was out of discrimination, retaliation. Because they think poverty is child abuse and neglect. No, poverty is not abuse. Poverty is not neglect. Just because someone is on state benefits does not make them abusive or neglectful parent. Get that through your head. So this went on for years and years, and my parent mentor kept closing me out. She said, there's nothing wrong with you, nothing wrong with your parenting. You are a good, fit mother, that you don't even need us. She said, I don't understand why people cannot leave you alone and stop making false reports to open cases on you. That's going to stress you out and cause duress. My parent mentor said. She said, you're such a great, fit, loving parent. There is no need for our services. You're doing an amazing job. But yeah, the CPS workers of intake kept opening cases up on me. 2018, let's fast forward to 2018. Sue Meeks from Park Hall, College Green in Athens, Ohio. She came out, got how I'm providing for my kid and stuff. And she said, I do not support people to have kids who has a foster child herself, who's on welfare benefits, who is single, divorced, and has been a victim of domestic violence in the past. And I didn't even tell her about the domestic violence. Somehow she figured it out. And she's like, I do not support you to have kids. and everything. She said I would do whatever I can in my power to lie, to fraud, submit fraud and falsified documents, to make reports on you till you lose your son and any other kids you may have. And I would do whatever I can to put you on a child abuse and neglect registry, just because I don't support parents who has kids who was in the foster care system, who is on welfare, who is not married, who's not in a relationship, who was on an IEP, who had mind disabilities. No parent with those issues or who was a foster child should ever have kids. And I will do whatever I can to see that you lose any other kid you have and destroy your future. And she said, I will pay people to pin neglect on you. Whether it's a CPS worker or police, I would do whatever I can in my power to see and pay people to neglect your kid and to pin it on you. So they took them. They didn't do a reinvestigation in 2018. I never had a criminal record. There was nothing on my record prior. CPS didn't like that. So basically they attacked me, they attacked my son, knocked him unconscious, he wet his diaper in Athens County Children's Services care, and they left him in a pissy diaper to pin neglect on me. Yeah, tell me about it. And then the caseworker, Tara Carsey, she never did a reinvestigation. Neither did LM. Did investigation. She lied on me to put a CPO on me to take my kids and to throw me in jail for something I never did. And then a CPS told the Nelsonville police cop that used to work there, from what I heard, the whole police station was fired. I don't know. And they told the cop to write out a falsified report, change evidence to make it look like I attacked the cop and to throw me in jail for 3 months so I won't practice my rights as a parent, and so I will not file a modification in court, because you can't do nothing like that. You can't fight for nothing when you're in jail. And they knew that, so they made sure the cop put me in jail for 3 months so I won't practice my rights or fight for my kid. Then, meantime, when I was in jail, I couldn't prove my innocence, so they kept falsifying, committing fraudulent documentations that they submitted with the Athens County Juvenile and Probation Court, which was falsified and fraudulent documents to take my kid away and to keep him away from me. And they kept lying and lying and lying and lying and lying. Kept dragging the case out. Kept dragging the case out. Kept dragging the case out by falsifying documents and submitted it to the court. Oh, and lying, saying I'm unfit, that I'm unstable, that I have anger issues. I do not have anger issues. I am sick of being harassed by people. There's a difference between anger issues and just fed up with everyone. And all out of retaliation from losing the cases for exposing them, and because my foster sister Elizabeth and Tiffany Rice exposing Tara Carsey on her personal Facebook in front of all her friends and family. She did not like that too well. But you know what? Elizabeth Tiffany Rice got fed up with your crap, Tara Carsey. Point blank. And she didn't like that, so she drag more lies out, saying that I was Tiffany Rice when I'm not Tiffany Rice. My foster sisters are mixed, so half black and half white. I'm white, all white, as you can see. And the only reason I know what she posted, because she took screenshots and sent the screenshots to me on my messenger. So I knew what was being said. And Tara Carsey didn't like the fact she was being exposed all over social media and YouTube. So she lied and made more lies up on claiming that she was doing an investigation. She's saying that I never followed through with home visits. No, that's a lie. She never once came out to access my living arrangement, to access my financial, to access what I have done and everything. Never once does she even set up a visit to do a true investigation. And Stu Meeks has access to Ohio Health computer system because they're linked up. So she changed my son's appointments around in the computer system, saying that I cancel, no show, when none of that was true. She changed that in the system, and they printed out to pin on me, changing evidence, which is fraud. And then I got out, and I somehow fall pregnant. It was consensual, but I did use protection and everything, and it didn't work. So, about March 5th-ish, I found out I was about 4 to 6 weeks pregnant, and didn't know at the time I was pregnant. Till that morning when I took a test and everything. Then I went to the OB. I think it was March 5th or March 8th. Yeah, it was March 8th. Sorry, I'm trying to remember all of these dates, March 8th, 2019, I found out I was pregnant. And I was told to not give them no information on my pregnancy because they would do everything they can to change my words around to take custody of my infant at the hospital. And my attorneys told me it is illegal for them to even took Josiah. It was illegal for them to take my infant when he was born at the hospital. It was illegal. Yeah. They had no means of proof to do what they did. And it was illegal. My attorneys told me shut up and to not tell her anything because then they would take my infant away. Yes, I lied, saying I wasn't pregnant, but the reason I lied to say I was not pregnant was to protect my unborn child from the real child abusers, from the real child neglectors, and to protect him from CPS's fraud and lies and how they vulture to take people's kids for no reason. I did it to protect my unborn child, Dylan James Limley, from being wrongfully taken from me. And must remind you, I had the other bedroom, which I'm in the boys' old bedroom. I had it all set up. It had a crib. He had clothes. He had baby monitors. He had diapers, wipes, everything he could ever need. A little piggy bank, everything. Like the whole entire nursery was set up by the time I entered my second trimester. And I kept all Josiah's old clothes, not all of them. I did throw some out because of the stains. And I kept all his clothes because I was wanting another child, And my case managers and stuff told me just keep his clothes just in case you ever have another child. So that's what I did. And not just that, but I spent well over $1,500 on my unborn child for a crib, mattress, diapers, wipes, clothes, formula, bottle, sippy cups, baby food, rice cereal, clothes, baby monitors, hygiene products, everything. I was stocked up for his first 2 years of life like I was with Josiah. So I kept going back to my appointments. I was having between 2 to 3 OB appointments a week, plus I was having all these freaking court hearings, so I never had time to attend PHP. So they used that against me, that I didn't attend PHP. But if you didn't keep the cases dragged out, I would have. And if I hadn't had to go to the OB 2 to 3 times a week, I would have. But I was extremely, extremely high-risk pregnancy with my second one, which is why I had to see the doctor. The OB 2 to 3 times a week because of the stress I was under, because of the duress that CPS caused, because of the post-traumatic stress and depressive disorder that Athens County Children's Services caused. He was healthy. He was extremely healthy, so I went in for a repeated C-section. He was extremely healthy. I had his WIC appointment and his first well check appointment set up. Just matter of minutes. Literally like 5 minutes after I got out of a major surgery. I had his WIC appointment set up. I had his first well check appointment set up with transportation. And then I had the green cab was going to transport me and Josiah. Not Josiah, me and Dylan as well, to his appointments like they would have me and Josiah. I had his Medicaid ready, filled out. I had his birth certificate filled out. I had all that stuff filled out within the first hour of delivery. With transportation and everything. I had his social security card order. I had his birth certificate order. I had his he was automatically put on Medicaid. Automatically. I had everything done. I was feeding him, changing him, but 67 hours later, CPS came with the Athens Police Department officer saying, well, we are taking your kid. I was like, you have no right to take my kid. It's illegal. And they tried to get me for dependency when they didn't even do an investigation on me. And Tara Carsey, before I even had the surgery and everything, in my second trimester, she sent me a threatening letter demanding information on my kid, how I was going to raise it, and everything. And she misspelled with half the words in the threatening letter that I sent to my attorneys, threatening me if I didn't give her information that she was going to call and make a false report to take my son away at birth. When I was told not to give that psychopath any information for my and my baby's protection. And my attorney said they legally cannot take that baby from the hospital unless someone inside the agency makes a report on you. And then they put Laura Bobo on the stand, saying that I neglected my son by keeping him in a wet diaper when they took him. No, bitch, you did that, not me, bitch. Is what I wanted to say. Then they brought Sue Meeks in. The witch didn't even know I was pregnant. She didn't know nothing about my infant. She didn't know nothing about me. And she sat there and lied on the stand, saying there was a risk of future harm when there was no risk of future harm. And they took my kids in 2019 permanently. Yeah. By fraud, falsifying documents, Children's Services, and Sue Meeks also. Even the judge even had people give false testimony on the stand. Yep. And that's basically how I lost my kids. Out of poverty because I was a foster child. Pretty much in our retaliation. Yeah. And they want to say I have all these mental health issues. They gave me false mental health diagnoses. Yeah, they give me false mental health diagnoses through Help Well. And they used records. The doctor that did the competency to stand trial evaluation pulled records from my Help Well file that was like literally 6 years prior and used that against me. So yeah. And then I played stupid like I didn't remember his name or know how to count money or anything. So I won't have false felonies on my record. Like, if I was so incompetent, how the hell did I just fool the system? How the hell did I just fool the system with my competency? They didn't do a reevaluation. They just went off false diagnosis from 67 years prior. Yeah, tell me about it. It's messed up, isn't it? And I was still attending all my case management appointments. I was attending all my counseling appointments, all my nurse appointments, all my psych appointments. And my psych doctor said there's not jack shit wrong with you. I was in that doctor's office for 2 hours. And she said there's not jack shit wrong with you. You have post-traumatic stress disorder and anxiety and depression. Which is from losing your kids. She said, you don't need medicine. You just need something to get you through to take the edge off till you can get all this stuff taken care of. Then you can take yourself off the medicine because you don't need the medicine. They even did genetic testing on me. And it found out I don't need medication at all. At all. And it proved that I was allergic to most of the psych medications on the market. Tell me about it. And then I'll end up in Columbus Springs East. And they sat me down in the doctor's office, did about a 2.5 hour long evaluation. And they also diagnosed me with post-traumatic stress disorder, depressive disorder, and anxiety from the loss of my kids. Yep, from the loss of my kids. And they told me that they have no business doing that. And they say the only reason you like this because you lost your kids and because you're enduring severe abuse and harassment by Athens County Children's Services. They said there's really nothing wrong with you. And the only reason you're going through this and feel the way you do is because of the trauma and the anxiety and the depression that you have went through that trigger those illnesses from losing your kids and from being harassed and everything. With Athens County Children's Services, they said these are the only reasons why you have post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety and depressive disorder, and my insomnia is from my anxiety and my depressive and my post-traumatic stress disorder. That's where my insomnia comes in. And the doctors even said that. They said there's nothing wrong with you. You're like this because you lost your kids, which is completely normal, and that Athens County Children's Services just keep on harassing you and threatening you and lying on you and submitting falsified documents. They said, I can tell you're an amazing fit mother. I can tell you do everything right, that you had no reason to lose your kids, is what I was told up there. So they told me once the cases get closed, I need to move out of the area, but that's a different video for a different day. And they told me do not answer the door to nobody because your safety is first. Yep. And they said another reason you have these issues because you were brutally attacked by a police officer. Yep. And they said another reason you like this because you've been harassed by Athens County Children's Services since 2016. And I told them why, that I exposed them and they're mad and everything, retaliating against me because they lost so many cases in court and that I exposed them. And he said that's probably why out of retaliation for losing the cases that they're doing this to you. And he said, I know how they are. They hate being exposed. They don't, they all about the cash, all about the money, about all that stuff. They don't give a crap about the child welfare. They only care about the money they get to put on their pockets. I was like, yeah, I'm glad more people see it this way. Like, and a lot of people up there was saying that they're freaking nuts. There's nothing wrong with you. You're such a fit mother. I can tell. I can see it in your eyes. I can see by the pictures. I can see by all of this stuff how you talk about them, and the things you have done for them, by the pictures you just show us, that you're a loving, caring, fit mother. But the courts didn't think so because of the falsified, fraudulent documents that Athens County Children's Services submitted with the courthouse. Yeah. And they ruined my chance to finish my degree in early childhood education to work in daycare. They ruined all that by falsifying and submitting falsified documents in court to take my kids. Yep. And and then paying people to give false testimony. So that's pretty much what it sums up to. And they knew I was a fit mother. They just couldn't get past the evil narcissist ways. So yes, this is part of my story. And there'll be a lot more if my book gets released. That I urge you guys, if my book gets released, I urge everyone to buy a copy of my book because there's so much information in there that you guys will love to read about. And my book is based off true life events and it's a true story. So if it gets released, I'll let you guys know. And I hope you guys go out and buy my book if it gets released. Alright, adios. Love you, friends. And bye. Peace.